Welcome back, everyone. We made it through options expiration. Let's dive in under the hood. Noteworthy underperformers right off the bat. We had Nvidia down 1.71% for the session, and we had Tesla, which just cannot catch a break, finishing down 1.63%. Our energy group also showed some relative weakness. Overall, options expiration can often be a very choppy, turbulent day in the market. That's exactly what we got. The S&P 500 actually finished positive, up 0.46%. Our NASDAQ was completely flat. Small caps were the leader throughout the entire session, as well as our Dow Jones. And the bond ETF, TLT, actually sold off for the session, as well as the ARK Innovation ETF. This thing really just cannot catch a break because it is being held down by Tesla. Now, the paradox here is that volatility closed red across the board. Down across the board, including in the TLT ETF, which finished red, the NASDAQ ETF, which finished flat on the session. So it's kind of strange that we're seeing some stocks behaving pretty weak, but we're also seeing volatility behave pretty weak. We're also seeing bonds behave pretty weak. It was just a very strange session. Our top momentum areas of the market, including Chinese technology, KWEB, our solar energy ETF, as well as our semiconductors, those groups did show some relative weakness today. And in terms of relative strength, we had utilities, which finished up 2.12%. That's not exactly the most risk-on configuration. Our defense style factor finished up 1.01%, and our high div low vol style factor also finished up 1.05%. So that is further evidence that investors were seeking defense today. We were able to find one stellar trading opportunity today in Arista Networks. This stock really just fits all of the criteria that we look for. The stock is in a clear uptrend. It showed some nice relative strength today. It finished up 2.59%, and we have a nice volatility contraction pattern where we're making pretty much equivalent highs and higher lows. Not to mention the stock has very good fundamentals as well. We purchased this stock for about $134.50, which is about 1% lower than where this stock closed. We stopped out of our SE common shares for a nice paper cut loss. And whenever I'm building positions in a new theme, in this example, it's international stocks, emerging markets, and China, it's always good to put out a few feelers, because when the trend is first starting to emerge, it's very tough to tell which of the stocks are going to be the winners, the losers, and everything in between. We ended up putting on PDD as well as SE, and we can see that SE showed some relative weakness today. It was down almost 5% on the session, but take a look at what PDD did. PDD only finished down 0.57%. We tagged the 5-day EMA before some buyers stepped in. So oftentimes as traders, we want to stick with our original call. We might be like, I bought this stock. I don't want to sell it now. I want to wait for it to break even. But by having a process where you're using your stops, you're taking them as they come, really what that's going to do is over time, your winners are going to run and you're going to get kicked out of your losers pretty quickly. Now, if I want to re-add that exposure to EM, I can do so with a fresh mind. Now I can once again take a look and find the best of the best within that group. The S&P 500 finished higher, but we remain in this balance area. We closed above the 5-day EMA, which is great, and this 20-day simple moving average is beginning to catch up to price. Given that we've been in this consolidation for 6 straight sessions, I would imagine that when we break this range to either the upside or the downside, we're going to have a large move. The NASDAQ put in a red candle, but we also closed right on that 5-day EMA. The Russell 2000 was a relative winner for today's session. We closed above the 20-day simple moving average, the 10-day EMA, but not quite above this 5-day EMA. Our Dow Jones also had a nice finish and also in that 6-day consolidation zone. The ARK Innovation ETF remains the problem child. We closed the session below this 20-day simple moving average, and we found buyers right as we approached this monthly points of control at $36.06. That is the next support level to watch on the downside. And I gotta say, I never thought I would see the day when Tesla stock would just completely drag down the ARK Innovation ETF. This thing made a new low today before some buyers stepped in and saved it, but we're below all of the key moving averages. We have this Venom S1 pivot down here at $162.96. That is definitely the next level to watch on the downside. This is definitely a make or break moment for Tesla stock. Our 10-year Treasury futures did pull back for a second straight session, and that really set the stage for the weakness that we had in the ARK Innovation ETF and the NASDAQ. We are getting some conflicting signals here. Crude oil continues its descent. It finished out at $80.26. And you would think, okay, crude oil's coming down. Okay, the dollar moved off of its highs. Perhaps investors are thinking we're going to be in a more deflationary, slow growth environment, but it doesn't really jive that we have crude oil down as well as treasuries. You would think it would be one or the other. That said, crude oil did find its bottom at around $77.62, and we did close well off the lows of the session. We formed a nice hammer candle. If we end up getting a bounce in crude, I think a lot of investors could get seduced back into these energy stocks, but my base case is that we're going to end up making a higher low in energy, and that could end up very well being a nice opportunity to short this group of stocks. Congrats to everyone for making it through another options expiration cycle. We're going to be putting out our weekend market analysis video for all Pristine Capital members. We're also going to be putting out our weekend watch list video. Those are both going to be out on Sunday. If you're interested in receiving that to help in your preparation for next week, visit pristinecapital.net, sign up for the active trader membership. You're going to get your first month free, so you really have nothing to lose. With that being said, that about does it for today's market recap. We'll see you next time.